My Science Tools by Julie K. Lundgren. We use science tools to ask, explore, and learn. All these kids are wearing goggles. Do you see that? Goggles are science tools that keep our eyes safe. How long is it? We use a ruler to find length. So we're measuring how long this gecko is from his head to his tail. It looks like he's 6 inches long right there. How heavy is it? Use a scale to weigh it. So they're weighing this bunny rabbit on this scale. I bet you have a scale in your bathroom that you could stand on to weigh yourself. I want to look closer. Do you know what that is that she has in her hand? It's a hand lens that you use to zoom in. Sometimes we call a hand lens a magnifying glass. It's the same thing. Magnifying glass and a hand lens, it's the same thing. Use a microscope to zoom in even more. When something's really tiny, we use a microscope to look at it. Use a tablet to store what you've learned. So you can take notes, you can save pictures, you can record video to save all the information that you've gathered when you're being a scientist. Science tools help us see, know, and think about the world around us. So here's definitions of the things that were in this book. It's called a glossary. The hand lens is a tool with a curved glass that we look through to make things look bigger. Remember, it's also called a magnifying glass. Length is how long something is from one end to the other. We use a ruler or a measuring tape to measure length. Let me move my picture. A microscope is a tool with a strong lens that lets us see very tiny things up close. A scale is a tool we use to see how much something weighs and how heavy they are. You might stand on a scale when you go to the doctor's office, and they measure how much you've grown. A tablet is a small computer that is easy to take with us and is used to store and share our notes and ideas. You can take pictures with your tablet and record video, or you can type notes into your tablet. And tools, all of these things are tools. Tools are just things that we use to help us do our jobs. So we use tools every day. So, show what you know. What tool can we use to find the length? That's right, we use a ruler. And what 2 different things do we use to see things up close? One of them was a hand lens. And for even smaller things? Right, a microscope. And what do we use when we want to store what we've learned? A computer. The computer they used in this book was a tablet. All right, you guys learned so much about science tools today. This is another book about science tools. It's called I Use Science Tools, and it's by Kelly Hicks. Now, while we're reading this book, I would like for you to pay attention to the different tools that are in this book that might or might not have been in the other book. I Use Science Tools by Kelly Hicks. Are you ready to use science tools in the science lab? As you work, you can use a pencil to write down what you learn. If we're using it to help us do the work, it's a tool. So our pencil could be a science tool. A hand lens makes small things look bigger. If it is very tiny, we use the microscope to look at it. A camera takes pictures of what you see. And a ruler, you use a ruler to measure how long something is. See, that boy has a ruler. I think he might be measuring how long that book is. A scale shows how much something weighs. This scale looks different than the one in the other book, but it's still measuring how much something weighs. You measure liquid in a beaker. Sometimes you also use what's called a measuring cup, but this one, when it looks like this, is called a beaker. And a timer counts down time. Science tools make the work easier. So show what you know. How do tools help you in science? Well, we just read it over here. Move my picture. Science tools make the work easier. That's how tools help us. They make the work easier. Why would you need to use a microscope? Well, it makes little tiny things bigger. Yeah. And if you were a scientist, what kind of tools would you need? Well, you're going to tell me about that in your assignment. So we read 2 books about science tools. Now, you probably noticed that there were some of the same tools in both books, and then both books had some different tools in them. So I'd like for you're going to look around your house and see what kind of science tools you have. And then you're going to either make a video or draw a picture or take a picture, and you're going to upload it into your assignment so that I can see what science tools you have at your house. But first, I'm going to show you what science tools I found at my house. Now this one, it wasn't in the books, okay? But sometimes scientists that are working with chemicals, they'll wear a mask over their face so that they don't breathe in the chemicals. Or if they're working with things like wood, they might not want to breathe in the sawdust. Okay? 'Cause sometimes scientists might have to cut some wood to see the inside of the tree. Okay? I also have a timer. Now my timer, it looks like a ladybug. See that? You see how it's got the numbers around the bottom? And when I turn it like this, you can hear it. Can you hear it going tick, 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 tick? And when it gets back to 0, it does this. And then that's how I know the time is up. So that's my timer. I also have, sometimes, this wasn't in the book either, sometimes a scientist will wear gloves like this to keep their hands from getting chemicals on them and keep them safe so that they don't get hurt or they don't get germs, things that they don't need on their hands. Okay? I have a microscope that is a different kind of microscope than they had in the books. This is a microscope that attaches to my computer so that you can see whatever it is that we're looking at on the computer screen instead of looking through it like the ones that were in the books. But this is a microscope. Okay? I also have a measuring cup that's kind of like the beaker that measures the liquids. You can see that it's got the measurements on the sides here. I have a tablet, and my tablet can take pictures right here like a camera, and then I can also record information inside my tablet, and I can look up information if I have questions that I don't know the answers to. And let's see, I've also got some measuring spoons if I need to measure a certain amount of stuff in my science experiments. And I've got some measuring cups. I'm wondering if you can come up with some science tools that we didn't talk about today. What other kinds of tools might a scientist use? I don't know. But maybe you could think of some different ones. Maybe Mom and Dad could help you think of some different science tools. So, see what kind of science tools you have in your house and make a video, draw a picture, take a photograph, and you can record on your photograph or your drawing to tell me what you have and post it in your seesaw for me. Have a great day.